We've talked about two different types of operators, the assignment operator and the various arithmetic operators. There's another common class of operators called comparison operators, and we'll explore one of them today. In fact, you've seen this operator at the bottom of every one of our programs. It's called the equality operator and is represented by two equal signs. It's a binary operator. Remember, that means that it compares the value of two different objects to see if they're equal. In this case, it's looking at the special variable name and asking whether the value of that variable is equivalent to the string main. We can't use the single equal sign to compare two objects. For humans, it would be pretty clear when we mean to assign something to a variable versus when we mean to compare two objects. But for the computer, it can become pretty ambiguous. So we use a single equal sign for assignment and a double equal sign for comparison. After we compare two objects, we get back what's called a Boolean value. I'll show you that here. If I want to compare the value 1 to the value 1, clearly 1 is equal to 1. Before executing the print function, Python will evaluate the expression inside. Does 1 equal 1? And the answer to that question is true, which is a Boolean value. Boolean values can take on either true or false. Let's check the type of this expression. We can use the type function, placing the expression 1 equals 1 inside. Now Python has three things to do. First, it's going to evaluate the truthfulness of 1 equals 1, which of course evaluates to true. And then it's going to evaluate the type of the response true and then print out the result. And we get the response that that is a bool or Boolean object type. What if we were going to evaluate something that's truly false, like is 1 equivalent to 2? Not surprisingly, the result we get is false. We can compare strings in the same way. The string me is not equivalent to the string you, but the string me is equivalent to the string me. So far we've just compared literals. We've compared numbers to numbers, and we've compared strings to strings. But we can compare variables as well. So let's assign 3 to the variable a and 5 to the variable b. Notice these are assignment operators. And now we'll use a comparison operator to see if the two variables refer to the same value. Of course we know they don't, so the result we get is false. But if they did refer to the same value, we would get a result of true. And we can do the same comparison with strings. We have to be careful if we're comparing things with different data types. The string 3 is not the same as the number 3. And we even need to be careful comparing different numeric types. Remember that float values are stored as fractional approximations, so adding up 0.1 plus 0.1 plus 0.1 is not guaranteed to be the same thing as 0.3. Of course, 0.1 plus 0.1 plus 0.1 does mathematically equal 0.3, so as programmers we just have to keep in mind that it's a little bit dangerous to compare floating point numbers. Integers, on the other hand, will always behave the way they're supposed to. You will see people use the is operator in place of the equality operator. And that will work, but there are a limited number of places where we want to use the is operator. And we'll talk about that later. For now, know that when you're comparing numbers, we should always use double equal instead of is.